Okay, there we go. Now it's finally working. Sorry about that little bit of a delay, guys. Getting started tonight, my microphone decided I'm not going to work right now, and it just wasn't moving, so I basically had to go and just redo all my mic settings, and that took a little bit of a minute to do right there, because for some reason it was working earlier, and now it's like, nope, mic's gonna crap out. Nope, mic's gonna crap out. So, let's get back to hatching some eggs, and let's try and get ourselves a shiny Cinderace today. So yeah, so we are going to be, of course, as you can see, hatching some eggs, and looking for shinies. So, today we got some stuff and things. But how are you guys doing today? There we go. But yeah, so if you guys got like your level 5 raids and stuff, you know, feel free to leave the code to those below. We're always happy to help. So let's get going. Lemon. Hey, Chaos Dragon. Just want to say thank you for the informative conversation. Thank you. Always happy to help, Chaos. Always happy to help. Always happy to help. What about the Graphii lacking? Yes, I've seen people doing Graphii or Graphii, or whatever the heck you pronounce his name. I've seen the strategy with getting rid of Truant. It's kind of terrifying that that's a thing. It's kind of terrifying that, like, that... It's not really a replacement for... It's not really a replacement for neutralizing gas, because neutralizing gas is just itself a very useful, good ability. But it's good as, like, a poor man's version of neutralizing gas. And in some ways, I'd kind of say it can be better than neutralizing gas. Because, you know, now if you like copy Intimidate, well, you can double Intimidate the enemy team. It's terrifying. But also, we know the details for the Hisuian starters' moves when they're going to get imported. We know what like, the move, because they changed the Hisuian starters' moves. Wait, we ain't rated. Hey, how you doing, Polytoad fan? How you doing? Welcome in, as well as the other raiders. How are you guys doing? Good to start the stream off with a raid, but how are you doing, Polytoad? What were you doing on your end? How did it go? Hope it went well. Yeah, I gotta get working on my Brute Bonnet. I have to get working on my Brute Bonnet, because I still need my 0-speed IV shiny Brute Bonnet. It's been a while. How you doing? How you doing, Polytoad? Omar, can you go grab Polytoad's link, please? Thank you very much for coming in. So, what were you streaming on your end? Graphii Regigiga is going to be nutty when Gigas gets transferred over to home in the update. I mean, we've already seen Wheezing we've already seen Reggie Wheeze. I don't think Graphii Reggie is going to be anything too different than what we've already seen. You know, I don't quite think it's going to be anything overly different. Because you gotta remember, I was playing the newest Fire Emblem game. I think I have too much of an addiction to it. I've never played Fire Emblem. I've heard good things, though. The turnaround being that Brute Bonnet is mid for declaring strong and funny. Which is nice! Yeah, we got our first shiny one relatively early. We got our other one at 504 eggs, and now we're still working on our last one. So, I'm glad that every single one of our Masuda hunts have been under odds so far. But if you guys have not done so already, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Thank y'all for coming out tonight. Sometimes fun. I've heard very good things. But the other thing is that I have so many games right now that I also want to be playing for other things. Because I still have not played Metroid Dread, and I still haven't played Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I still need to get working on those. Gonna try to boot it. Nice. Yeah, like, there's a lot of stuff that I gotta get working on with. Liz DLC speculation is crazy. Hope DLC dropping a buck money. They are probably going to do that. They are gonna. We actually have our own DLC video we're gonna be working on soon. That is gonna be going out in a few days. I have not yet. We've been busy. I don't have Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I don't have Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'll be honest, kind of don't really want to get it. Like, I love the first Xenoblade Chronicles, but a game on, like, the scale similar to Xenoblade Chronicles, especially with knowing in a couple of months we are going to be getting Breath of the Wild 2, I don't really... Son of a freaking thing, we just found another shiny freaking Bergmite. Wait, no, was that not a Bergmite? What? Okay, it must have been the lighting that made it look yellow. Okay. The legs looked gold. There's those bash you play Mario Party 2. Yeah, it's just so many games. Yeah, the sun was setting and it made it look like the legs were gold. No, that does not count as a shiny fail. A shiny fail is when you find a shiny and it either KOs itself, despawns, or you just don't notice a shiny is there. That is not a shiny fail. But yeah, there's just a lot of games, and there's not always the most time to play them. You know, it's kind of one of the issues that I want to keep. I gotta remember, I'm not just, of course, playing Pokemon in my spare time. I am also doing, like, a competitive prep, because I am building teams for Series 1, building teams for Series 2, planning for future series. I am doing a lot of preparations for those, in addition to, of course, playing the game. And throwing into that, editing the long-form discussion videos, scripting them, it's a lot of a time investment. Love when they remove features, the sound effects. The thing is, Polytoad, I think it was a good thing that they removed that. I think it was a good thing that they removed the sound effect. Because let's be honest, shiny hunting in Legends was not shiny hunting. Shiny hunting in Legends was you hop on the highest mountain you can find, you hop on Nisui and Braviary, and you just circle the entire areas for like 10 minutes, checking every solitary inch, no shinies, go back and do it again. That is all shiny hunting in Legends is. Whereas, like, I mean, yes, it's annoying that it's gone, but I think it's better that they removed it, in that it actually gets you to be really shiny hunting, and you're actually actively looking rather than just waiting for an audio cue, which I think is, I think it's a good thing that they did that. I mean, when it comes to shiny hunting, you're looking for the Pokemon. When you're doing encounters in the overworld, you're encountering things one at a time. You actually need to look closely rather than just wait for an audio cue. I kind of think that having, like, I think that the audio cue was a good thing to have, but I think, like, the audio cue, the animation thing, that was a bit much. Yeah, I mean, I agree, but it only really applies for the small Pokemon. I definitely think that there were some problems with having it removed, but overall, I'm happy it's gone, because let's be honest, if they still had that old same system, it would just be us riding around on Miraidon and Koraidon and flying around at Mach 10, just waiting for that audio cue. We wouldn't even be paying attention to the game. When you have to pay attention to the screen, it makes you more engaged. And I think that's better, that you have that sort of, you have to be engaged. Again, there's definitely some problems with removing the sound effect, but I think it's a net benefit. Because we all know, even if there was an option for it, everyone would just turn it on always, because there's no reason to not have it on. Shiny Hunters would always have the thing running. So, like, I think it is better that they removed it, so that way it does, you know, not necessarily force you, but it encourages you to actively continue to pay attention to the game. You know, that, I think it's the lesser of two evils. I think it's very much the lesser of two evils, having the sound effect be removed and making it potentially more easily missable, rather than just reducing shiny hunting in the overworld to just running around waiting for an audio cue. You know, either way, there's going to be people unhappy on both sides, and I think they went with the lesser of the two bads. Yeah, I mean, there is that, but hey, Darth Revan, how you doing? Yeah, I mean, I can understand that, Polita, but for, like, if we're streaming, I kind of think it's better to not have that, because it means, like, I'm paying attention to the game in addition to paying attention to the chat. And again, this one is, it's going to come down to different strokes for everyone. Everyone is going to have their own different takes on it, and that's why I think it's such a good talking point. Because the way that I look at it is I bring sort of, like, the same lens of my competitive analytical side to it, and looking at how are people going to abuse a system to the nth degree. Because you can include a system that is intended to be used, you know, oh yeah, you know, to, like, you know, notify you if there is one so you don't miss it. But in the end, all it's going to do is boil down to people are not going to actually be playing the game. They're just going to be flying around looking and waiting for that audio cue. There's going to be waiting for the audio cue more often than not, rather than, like, it being engaged. You know, it's kind of the way that a lot of the other things worked out that they've added, is that it encourages people to be more engaged with the game, rather than just kind of not really paying attention. Hey, Cactus. When it came to things like the SOS battles, that was good to have, like, of course, the audio cue and, of course, you know, the visual one. Because when you're doing SOS chains, you know, it's just you're carrying the same thing over and over again. You're basically on autopilot brain at that point. I'm doing very well. Engage is indeed a funny word. Engage is indeed a funny word. I think it'd be a nice option for colorblind if you choose otherwise. What's the favorite cactus? Yeah, I definitely think that I think that's something that might add something like that, you know, to give, like, a little bit of a notification. But I can understand why they would remove it. I try to look at it from both ends. I would indeed like to do some raids. Death Revan. Yeah, we're only doing level 5 raids, because level 6 raids are not worth doing. They are significantly more difficult, and the raid rewards are just not even worth the increase in rewards are just absolutely minuscule, to the point of not even being worth it. Nah, I'm not gonna go on a rant, but yep. Actually, speaking of non-Pokemon things, when we resume Breath of the Wild, what day? What? No. Every Sunday. Thursday. There we go. Wait, what is that, Polytoad? Milor. Dread and Marriage, Dramatic Great Experience. What if Grinch comes back? Hatch eggs. Can I have one? Wait, what?
At a very dramatic raid experience, when Greninja comes out, if you decide to hatch eggs.
Yeah, I'm always happy to save one. I'm always happy to save an egg for everyone. 2 6-star raids. I verified cannot multiple verses. Level 5s can also drop multiple Herba Mystica Chaos. Level 5s can also drop multiple Herba Mystica. It's just that level 6 raids have a slightly better chance. There are also certain raids that just have a much better raid reward pool. Cause like, the ones that have a better reward pool, this applies for both level 5 and level 6s, are like Blissey, Amoonguss of all things, Blissey, Amoonguss, Satitan, Colossal, and there's like 1 or 2 others. But yeah, there are level 5s that can drop 3. It's, because at maximum, you can actually have a level 5 that drops 5 Herba Mystica. Either the 4 or 5 Herba Mystica they can drop maximum. It's just you need to get very, very lucky. Yeah, you have a slightly better chance of getting it from a 6, but you can get 3 or even 4 from a level 5. I've gotten it in the past. It's just very unlikely. Kill, that's Batman lore. Here we go. But yeah, if you guys haven't done so, please do not forget to leave a like and subscribe. But yeah, if you guys haven't done so already, I encourage you to check out the Greninja battle video that Ace Trainer Al and I worked together on. We have figured out a foolproof strategy that will allow you to one-shot Greninja, and it only requires 1 turn of setup. Least favorite game. Oh, Pokemon X and Y. Pokemon X and Y is my least favorite. I'll be up for that Flying Palmet. I just hunt 5-star raids. Annoying because they aren't yet on the map. Yeah. I prefer the 5-star ones because the 5-star ones, when I go around, I can just use the hatch eggs while I'm looking for 5 stars. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like Amoonguss is one of your best raid targets because Amoonguss has one of the highest raid reward drop pools. The only thing is that Amoonguss is very difficult. A foul play from Amoonguss if you're using a belly drum sweeper, as in read read Azumarill or Iron Hands. From full health, if it's not a dark type, foul play will deal about 40 to 60% of your health. So you need to be keep your head on your shoulders and be a little bit careful when it comes to that. Because otherwise the Amoonguss can absolutely dumpster you. Let's go. Least favorite non-Pokemon game. Oh, least favorite non-Pokemon game. That's Black Ops 4. Least favorite Pokemon game. That is Black Ops 4. I'm a huge fan of the Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies franchise. I love it. But Black Ops 4 is a blight on the name of that good series. Totally agree Goldengo was the best option for Amoonguss. Just hit it a few times. TERA Steel, then body it. Well, the other issue is that it may not be a typing that Steel is good against. Yeah, Amoonguss is generally one of the best plays. Amoonguss is generally one of the best to get beaten up by Goldengo, because Goldengo is just immune to status moves. However, the issue is that Goldengo may not necessarily have the best moves for it. But yeah, I very much think Goldengo is good. We're strong against ground types. Fairy, Bug, and Fighting. I would recommend Iron Hands. I would recommend Iron Hands with Belly Drum and Drain Punch. Totally agree with Goldengo. Yeah, Goldengo is just fun. Goldengo is just fun. Like, I've been working on the list for like my top 11 favorite Pokemon from Paldea, which is gonna be its own video at some point. And Goldango is a notable Pokemon on that list because it's one of the few Pokemon I've somewhat disliked first time through that has very heavily warmed up to me. Because I don't like top 10s. I think it's best to go with 11. Because I've always noticed whenever I did used to make like top 10s or like top whatevers, I'd always include an honorable mention. And that's basically a top 11 anyway. So why not just go top 11 if you're going to have like 2 honorable mentions anyway? Like 1 or 2 honorable mentions. You might as well just make it a 12. Or make it an 11. Shulk is a clear winner. Because Shulk isn't annoying. Is there anything that's special attack, wear safety goggles, in my experience, but keep it true. Yeah. If it is like a water type Amoonguss, I feel like Rotom, like, grass types would be quite good for it, because grass types are actually immune to Spore. Just intrinsically, it's just the way that they are. And if you have an Amoonguss that is weak to, like, weak to grass, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. But yeah, like, Safety Goggles is very, very good. Safety Goggles is very, very, very good. Miraidon, Water Sword. Yes. That's the other thing, is I like bringing Miraidon. Well, I mean, I don't bring Miraidon. I bring Grimmsnarl. Because Grimmsnarl can set Misty Terrain, which prevents all status conditions. Which means you're not getting burnt, you're not getting poisoned by Sludge Bomb. You're not getting slept by Spore. You don't need to deal with taunting the Amoonguss. Even when the shield is up, so you can still prevent your stats from being applied when that fighting type is counter. How do I make a fighting type? I think fighting is pickles. I think pickles are the food item you want to put on a sandwich for fighting types. But there are those like infographics that are like, this is the way to build a sandwich. I don't remember them off the top of my head though. There are some that I do remember off the top of my head. Like I remember dragon is avocado, grass is lettuce, fire is red pepper, poison is green pepper, yellow is electric pepper. Ooh, grass Tatsugiri. Alright, grass, level 5 Tatsugiri. Let's go. Yeah, I pretty much always bring Iron Hands to TERA battles. But I think in this case, I'm gonna go for Azumarill. Azumarill. Yeah, yeah, Metal Face better than Fiora. Metal Face is better than Fiora. Fiora lame. Thank you, Cactus. Thank you, Cactus. Yeah, all I did was I just applied my competitive know-how to the Greninja thing, because we know the level... Because we know that the TERA raid level 7 bosses have around 7,000 health. Most estimates put it at around 7,500 HP. Which means you just need something that can hit that 7,000 damage benchmark. Which is one of the very handy-dandy things about the... one of the things I will praise Showdown for is I like their Battle Simulator damage calculator. It actually shows how much damage you're doing. It shows, okay, this is the percentage of the HP that you're dealing. This is the actual damage number. Like, you're dealing like 800 damage with this hit. So all I needed to do is, okay, find when the lowest end of that thing hits 7.5k. And after one turn of setup, I came up with a Gallade set that hits 7.8k. Yeah, the moves are very vital. Like, There are other Pokemon that are capable of hitting that damage benchmark for Greninja. I mean, obviously, the Psychic-type stored power users can hit that benchmark. But the problem with, of course, the Psychic types when it comes to Greninja is every Psychic type that is in this game, bar one, is weak to Dark or is weak to Poison. That's the issue. Gallade is the only Psychic type in the entire game that is not weak to either of those. It also has a very healthy special defense stat. But, I mean, the critical thing is, like, the sharpness ability, because it boosts your moves by 50%. So, like, if it didn't have sharpness, you need to go into another turn of setup, which is problematic, because the entire crux of the strategy is the 2-turn kill. The entire strategy is a 2-turn kill, and it works. The only way that it does not work is if they massively buff the HP of the level 7 raid bosses to something like 10,000, which I don't really see them doing, because that's not the 7-star raids then. By the way, I met an hour ago, caught a shiny Magikarp, a level, and caught 9 in 11 and Go. Nice. Yeah, so there was a Larvitar event thing today in Go. Tatsugiri is adorable. You can build a lot of options, solo, that. I don't think a solo is possible. I think a solo for Greninja is flat out impossible. Like, the numbers at play for this necessitate multiple layers of debuffs, multiple layers of buffs, and multiple field conditions. With a solo, you simply don't have that. Like, you cannot set, like, Psychic Terrain, give yourself a Helping Hand boost, and debuff, and buff it. You simply don't have the move slots to do that. And that's why I think, like, solos are impressive. Like, people who can pull off those solos against those bosses is insane. The problem is, I don't think it's feasible to do that against Greninja, just because of the typing at play. The closest I could see is potentially being possible is, like, Garchomp at +6. But even then, like, I think that's going to be a bit of a hard one. I think it's going to be a hard one even for Greninja. No dark moves. Slowbro or Slowking is an easy win, but it's dark. The thing is, I don't think it'll even be that easy to do with Slowbro, because you gotta remember, the reason why it did very, very well against Cinderace is Cinderace had nothing that could hit the slow dudes for that hard of a hit. At best, it was hitting a neutral acrobatics, which is kind of pathetic. With this, it would have a poison-type neutral stab, which is, at bare minimum, 50% more powerful than Greninja's acrobatics. Not Greninja, than Cinderace's acrobatics. It's the numbers at play for Greninja and Cinderace. They're in a completely different league. The Greninja is, at bare minimum, doing almost 50% more damage in the best case scenario. Unless that thing does not have, like, a poison move at all, and its own, if it only has, like, resisted moves, then I think, yeah, then Slowbro is definitely possible. But it's definitely going to take a lot of setup for Slowbro. It's going to take a lot of setup. And then and whenever you're doing, TERA raids solo that take a lot of setup, you're always running that risk of the stat purge. 7.5k, so 7,500. The other issue is when you're running that level of setup intensity, you always have to be on the lookout for the stat purge. Because if you take too long and it gets down to that stat purge, there is a certain point in the fight where it will automatically stat purge. When the timer or its health gets to a certain mark, it will stat purge you. And if that happens, anything going for stored power setup will immediately get negated. which is also part of the reason why for that video, Al and I were looking for the absolute minimum amount of setup necessary. We wanted to come up with the fastest strategy to one-shot Greninja, because the fastest strategy in terms of just number of moves used is the one that runs the least risk of a stat purge, of Greninja getting a lucky crit, of, I don't know, the AI going into freaking cheat mode and just spamming moves like it likes to do. I think Palafin is stupid. My thoughts on Palafin is it is stupid. It joins Shedinja and... It joins Shedinja, it joins Wormadam, it joins Spinda in that category of Pokemon that exist just for a gimmick. And I don't like it. I expect Greninja will have Dark Pulse, either Terra Blast, Poison, or Gunk Shot, Ice Beam, and for a water move, that is the only thing I'm not super concrete sure on. I think it could definitely toggle between either Hydro Pump, Surf, or what's the other move? Water Pledge. I think it could definitely toggle between any of those three. But, and that's if it's running special. I think it could run potentially mixed. What the? What is the lights going for regular like that? Yeah, I don't think it'll be mixed. I don't think it will go mixed. But you never know. Like, we never know, because what I'm predicting they're going to do is they're going to run natures for all these Pokemon that correspond to, like, the different, nature mints. Yeah, mixed air would be deficit best. Yeah. I mean, it could go full special if they give it Terra Blast. You know, if it goes full special, Terra Blast is an option. Because remember, Terra Blast goes to whatever your highest offensive stat is. Meaning, if its highest stat is special attack, which it is, then it will default to being a special poison move. Because Greninja only has one poison move, and that is Gunk Shot. I think Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, Terra Blast, and Filler Move makes good logically since they ran... I mean, I think what they're going to do is they're probably going to go, like, Jolly Nature for this one and give it a Jolly Mint as a reward. Because otherwise, well, that, I mean, then you'd be docking one of its offensive stats if it's mixed, which is not good for it. Or you'd be docking one of its defensive stats, which I guess I could see them intentionally docking one of its defensive stats to sort of kind of give us an easier route of beating it by just, like, intentionally dropping one of its defenses. Nice, EB. Nice. I think Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse. Yeah, I think that possibly Ice Beam is going to be what they're going to tack on it for its other filler move. But the other thing we got to remember is they don't just have 4 moves. Remember, all the Terra Raid Pokemon, the AI freaking cheats. The AI freaking cheats. So it will give more than 4 moves. Oh yeah, yeah, right, Timid. I generally run, like, I generally run modest special attackers and jolly physical attackers, so I always mix them up. Thinking mix and dropping Carbos. Yeah, but the thing is, at that point, then you'd be docking its defenses at that point, or you'd be docking one of its attacking stats. So I don't see them as docking one of its. I don't see them as really going mixed and docking one of its defenses. But then again, the Froakie that you got from Mashana back in X and Y, it did have, I believe it was a hasty nature, which was it drops physical defense, increases speed, because Greninja's mixed. Whereas the others were, I believe, modest and adamant for Chespin and Fennekin. Spent 10 plus EV items. Yikes. Yeah, EV items get expensive. Vitamins get freaking expensive. It's definitely not fun. But, I mean, that's the good thing about the TERA raids, is the TERA raids drop things like star pieces, comet shards, pearls. They drop all kinds of, like, good sell-fodder items, and I just sell those. Bonk. The bonk does nothing to me. The bonk does nothing to me, because I'm a metal machine. Now, to quote Sabotage, in one of my favorite lines from any of their songs, "Come suck my metal machine." Just sit back and watch the damage. Come on, watch the damage. Love it. I love how much damage this thing does. It's so aggressive. It's literally a face-punching machine. I love it. It is a literal face-punching machine. When it's easy to come by, turbo control, thankfully, at max money since I've performed in the academy. Yeah, that's what I just do. I just go to the academy, lead Goldengo, spam, make it rain. But even then, it's like, I don't need to just spam make it rain. I can just attack the amulet coin or something and just run it that way. And even I can just sell the items from raids. It's not that hard. Because if you just run through Asado Desert, you find star pieces on the ground. You just have your Pokemon go into Let's Go mode, and you just farm star pieces easily that way. Very good. Also, guys, if you haven't done so, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. As well as check out the Greninja Raid Battle video. Bonk. Don't do anything to me. You can't do anything to me. Bonk. It is a literal face-punching machine. I love it. I think that's energy drained. Oh. Into the punch. But yeah, for those who don't know, if you terastalize, and you don't use a move that corresponds to your TERA type, it actually deals 35% of its normal damage when the shield is up. So basically, this is the damage modifiers that the shield does. When the shield is up, as it is right now, your moves only deal 20% of their normal damage. So a fifth of their normal damage, they do. That's why you just deal basically nothing to them. When you're terastalized, but you're not using a move that is what your TERA type is, you deal 35% normal damage. But when you are terastalized and you're using a move that is the same as your TERA type, so like here where I'm using a fighting type move and I'm TERA fighting, you deal 75% of your normal damage. So it's why it's best to not run a TERA type that is different than the normal typing of your Pokemon when it comes to raid attackers. Because there's no benefit to not doing that, because you just simply are dealing the most damage when you do that way. The best thing is when you can skip the shield entirely. That is the best thing, Caleb. That is the best thing, is when you can just completely skip the damage. But sometimes that damage skip is unavoidable without many, many layers of setup turns. But how you doing? Nope, it is 20, 35, and 75. I'm doing very well, Kayla. I've been farming Herba Mystica all day. Basically, while I've been editing and working on other video scripts, I've basically just been sitting here, going into Poke Portal and just clicking on level 5 TERA battles in the Poke Portal, and just, like, doing that in addition to things. So, I've just been farming up my Herba Mystica stockpiles, because, like, I'll show you guys what my stockpiles are at before. Like, last night, I had no Herba Mystica of one of these categories, and everything here was below, like, 5, except for Salty, which was at 7. I farmed so many Herba Mystica today, it's not even funny. I love it. The best thing you can do when you skip the shield, yeah, entirely by doing it. Yeah, it's fun to just skip the shield. It's fun, very fun to skip the shield. I wish I could do it more consistently, though. Ooh, Normie Men's. I'd be very happy to join the Normie Men's. I spam Hyperspace Sylveon when I sleep about 7. Yeah, I would never leave my Switch running all night, because, like, I'm super freaking paranoid about, like, my Switch overheating. Because You guys can't hear it, but I can sometimes. Where, like, the fan in my Switch just... It spins very, very fast, and just, like, the air coming out of it is just very, very aggressively. And I can hear it. And because this is actually not my original Switch, as in my friend bought this Switch, used it for however long they had it, and then sold it to me, and it's been mine for the past, like, four or so years, that my worry is, like, something will give out in the Switch if it is running that long when I am asleep, and I just do not like leaving my Switch on for that long. But if I had a more new one, I probably would feel a bit more comfortable than that. But again, guys, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I turned the brightness down. It seemed to run much cooler. Interesting. Well, I mean, I just have mine in the dock. I pretty much never take my Switch out of the dock. Because also, on the back of my Switch, the kickstand thing is gone. There's no kickstand on the back of my Switch. But how you doing, Taylor? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's why when I'm playing my Switch on my own time, even if I'm playing, like, all day like I was today, just gathering Urban Mystica, I'll play for, like, 5 or so hours, turn the thing off, power the Switch down, take it out of the dock, and, like, put it near the window. Like, I'll, like, either press it against the window for a while, because the window's cold, because, you know, it's, like, frickin' 17 degrees outside, or I will actually open the window and, like, let the cold air flow through the room and just leave my Switch on the ground, because the cold air sinks, the cold air settles right on top of the Switch, and it cools the thing down. And that's just how I cool my Switch. I do that, like, let my Switch stay off for, like, an hour and a half or 2 hours, put it back on the dock, and just repeat that, rather than just, like, leave it running all day. I mean, it's probably excessive that I have to do that, but I'm just paranoid. I'm just paranoid that something's gonna happen on my Switch. We might do a future Smash Bros. Stream. It's not, it's like, yeah, it's normal. Okay, my controller is thick with the back, so just lay it down. Ah, nice. Yeah, my Switch, we gotta remember, this is also my only Switch. And I don't want anything to happen to my data. So it's kind of one of those things where, like, I'm paranoid something might happen to it, even if nothing will happen to it. I'm just paranoid. So I'm just worried, and I just play it super safe. Also, I love the name Florida Man. I love Florida Man. You're a dick, you know that, Salamence? You're a dick. Screw you. Freaking stat purging me the second after I boosted myself up, and go screw yourself with a freaking flinch right there. Screw yourself with a freaking flinch hacks. Yeah, I know, but the other thing is that Pokemon data is not saved to the cloud. Your Pokemon save data is not saved to the cloud. The only way to transfer Pokemon save data to another Switch is to do a data transfer. So you need to have a second Switch present and to do the manual data transfer. You can't really, like, retrieve that from the Switch if the Switch craps out. Which is one of the reasons I'm just, like, super paranoid about it. Because if something happens, I lose everything. Like, I don't just lose my shinies, I lose my story teams. I lose my competitive teams. Because I'll be honest, I would probably be okay with losing my shinies, but I wouldn't be okay with losing my competitive teams. Which is the weird thing, because I know most people probably the other way around. Where it's like, no, I actively enjoy competitive. If I lose my competitive teams, I would be crushed. I need someone to heal me. I need someone to heal me, because I'm going to go down next turn. Thank you, whoever did that preemptively. Thank you, you're a hero. You're the true hero of this story. Shield shattering. Yeah, that's the one issue that Iron Hands has. It is so min-maxed into physical attack and HP and defense, its special is crap. Wham! Thank you, Cactus. Thank you for the heals. We needed that. And again, guys, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. And if you guys haven't, I highly recommend you check out the recorded playlist stuff that we do. We do all kinds of recorded stuff and things, and I know you'll enjoy it if you love this nonsense. So I don't have to go down. Honestly, freaking normal hyper voice Salamence is a nightmare and a half I don't want to deal with. That is not true Pokemon. I've known numerous people that have done the data transfer when it comes to Pokemon games, and their Pokemon data has not transferred over. Because the Pokemon data is saved differently. Your Pokemon data, and I believe it is also Animal Crossing data, needs to be a manual transfer. You cannot just save it in the cloud, because it doesn't save that way. It's very weird the way Pokemon save data works. I don't like it. But it does make sense, because strangely, Pokemon is not actually made by Nintendo. Nintendo just publishes the games. Nintendo's just the publisher. Pokemon is made by Game Freak, which means that it's made by a different studio, which means likely the saving mechanisms are different between the two game developers. Yeah, it's very weird, but when it's thought of like they were just developed by different people, so they have different like practices for things, it does. Ooh, Steel. Fun. Steel Rotom. I always do recommend catching the version exclusives. I do recommend doing that because it's good to have the version exclusives. You guys bring attackers. I am gonna bring Grimmsnarl, because this thing gets a lot of annoying disruption status moves, and I'm going to bring Grimmsnarl from Misty Terrain, so it can't status any of us. I have plans. I have numerous plans for this. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Greninja raids. I'm looking forward to the Greninja raids for no reason other than to face punch the Weeb Frog. Just to face punch the Weeb Frog. Yeah, do not bring Palafin. Palafin does not transform into hero mode in TERA raid battles. It's odd to think a random game that wouldn't be in the cloud when they don't have a disclaimer, but not disputing. For this, I think Arcanine would be good. I think Arcanine would be good. I mean, it's not really a random game. It's that it's made by, well, not Nintendo's main dev staff. You know, it's not made by Nintendo's dev staff. It's made by Game Freak, which it's like it's jointly owned, but it is produced by Game Freak. It's not produced by Nintendo. So, like, it's probably just different data saving norms. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, either of them is fine. I feel like crap, my back hurts. You should rest, David. You should rest. Take, like, a hot shower, help, like, loosen up your muscles, and just lay down. You should be resting, David Doss. You should be resting. Be resting. Oh, I'm the one that's not rated up. There we go. Yeah, Skeletor's is a super amazing thing. Skeletor's is like super freaking amazing for any raid pretty much that is weak to fire. Skeletor's is almost an auto pick. The only thing that prevents it from being a complete auto pick is Flash Fire, which is terrifying. Which is freaking terrifying. That like, that's why I, for a long time, was thinking, why would I ever run Grass as my Terra type on my Armarouge for competitive? And then I remembered, wait, a lot of things competitively like to bring fire moves in VGC. And also, competitively speaking, Grass is very good because it dodges any sort of shenanigans that a Moongus wants to throw in your face with Spore moves. Florida Man! I love Florida Man. I freaking love the name Florida Man for the Skeletors. It's too perfect. That actually reminds me. I remember just like looking up Florida Man memes, and my favorite one was like Florida man like stops alligator that invaded home pool by just like playing with it to tire it out, and then after the alligator like fell asleep, he just carried it out of the pool. Absolute legend. you live in, oh right. Darth Revan is the Florida man. Darth Revan is the Florida man. Nice. Really, Cactus, you're also in Florida. Really? Neat. Yeah, Florida is one of those places that it's not cold in the winter. No snow. However, there's only one thing that really keeps me from ever, like, deciding I will move to Florida, and that's the hurricanes. Wait. Foos is in Florida? Wait. Foos is in Florida? Dang. I didn't realize that. I don't miss snow, Darth. Like, I would not miss snow if... Bitter Mystica. I wouldn't... If I moved somewhere and I never had to deal with snow again, I don't think I'd miss it. Like, the only thing about snow that I like is that when I, like, shovel the driveway in winter, it's a very good exercise because it burns a lot of calories. So, like, I lose a lot of weight. You know, I don't lose a lot of weight, but I lose weight by just going out and, like, shoveling the driveway for exercise. But I wouldn't miss the ice on the road. I wouldn't miss salt corrosion on the cars. I wouldn't miss freaking almost slipping anytime I go outside to take the dog out. Because, you know, Mother Nature wants to kill us. Well, it's like, I wouldn't know it. I would not miss being cold. The only thing about, like, winter I think I would miss is, like, amusingly, the cold. Only because the cold helps keep my room from overheating in winter. Because it's just so cold out that, you know, my room just does not heat up and doesn't overheat. Because it's been crazy. We're in Michigan this year, and we're usually getting buried by now. Ooh, water type Zoroark. Interesting. Nice. I'd like to join the Zoroark raid. Is that you get to catch Craig? No. No, you do not get Wild Craig on a raid. But yeah, it's pretty much that in the winter. Because what I do in winter is I close all the vents to my, like, all the heat vents to my room. I just close them. So that way, like, hot air from the heater doesn't enter my room. And it's cold outside, so, like, you know, the cold air, you know, lowers the temperature of my room. But running my laptop, the Switch, and the recording streaming PC that I'm running right now, it heats my room up a lot. When I say it heats my room up 10 degrees Fahrenheit more than what, like, the surrounding house is. So, if it's, like, 90 degrees, my room is 100 degrees. If it is, say, 27 degrees, say if, like, the house in winter is, like, 65 degrees, my room is 75 degrees. So, in winter, it's very good, because it keeps my room warm. And the reason I know that the temperature is, as nerd mode as I am, I have a, I think it's like a Newton's thermometer, I think is what it's called. Basically, it's a little thermometer that has, like, these little, like, balls of oil in it. And each of the little oil things have, like, a little number on it. And that as you're basically, the thing heats up, the oil, like, boils inside these little glass balls. And they will rise and fall because the density changes. And it records how hot your room is just by the density. By like, the things that going up and down. And I can just, like, oh, house inside is, like, 75 degrees. Okay. Check the little thermometer. Oh, it's 85 degrees inside my room. It's how I can tell that my room is a freaking oven in the middle of summer. That's why like I don't really stream during during the day in summer. Is that if it's like of course 90 degrees, my room is a freaking oven. So like I turn the switch off, I turn the computer off, I just like minimize that. But in winter, I basically have stuff running 24/7 because it heats the room up, and I can like still do content stuff and things. Well, I mean, it's just like I don't need to have like the heat from like, the central heating heat up my room, because my room is kept warm by the equipment. I don't need it. It's for one of the reasons I love like it's one of the reasons why I actually don't have like a giant box. Not like I don't have like the super advanced tech like fan to cool my my computer down. Because all that having like a giant ass fan strapped onto my PC would do is it would just pump the hot air that the computer is producing out into the room at large, which would just heat the room up. And if the computer gets hot, then it would just mean that the computer will eventually get hot, because the whole room will start heating up and it can't like exchange the heat. So by just not doing that. So by not having that, well, like yeah, I don't need some super giant, super cooling system on it. Though definitely having like a cooling system would be good for it, like in summer. But the issue is in summer, it would also just cause the thing to heat up faster. Like it would cause the room to heat up faster, because it's venting the heat quicker. And even then, the computer doesn't really heat up that much, because like it's a powerful computer. But it's not like rendering the most modern of cutting-edge graphical processing needs, where like it needs to be running at like super high temperatures. Yeah, it would help in summer. Like I think it would help during summer, but like even then, I don't really stream during the day middle of summer, just because it's too warm. You know, it's like even if I'm like I'm not running the equipment, my room is still freaking an oven. Because it's just too hot outside. So I wouldn't really want to be streaming during that anyway, because it just isn't pleasant temperature-wise to be streaming in. So it is why, like, generally in summer we stream later in the day, or we stream, like, early, so, like, 11 to, like, 4. Yep, more Herba Mystica. We need all of the Herba Mystica. Yeah, yeah, I pretty much made the decision that every couple of days, I'm going to do, like, a designated Herba Mystica gathering stream, where it's just, like, a chill Masuda hatch stream, do raids and stuff. Because, you know, I'm going to need to replenish, because if I do pretty much the Outbreak streams every single day, I do the Outbreak streams every day. If I do like very high intensity Herba Mystica consumptive streams every single day, I am going to need to grind that much harder off stream to gather Herba Mystica, which means that I don't have as much time to do other things for the channel. So it's like, okay, I don't need to finish the freaking Shiny Living Dex before we get the DLC. The DLC is coming out in June. Like, at the earliest, we're getting the DLC in June. That still gives me, like, what? You know, we have, at this point, we have over 100 Shinies in the game, and we have what, 400 Pokemon in the Dex. We're probably a third to a quarter done with all shinies in the game, and that's inside of maybe a month and a half of dedicated shiny hunting. I don't need to hit the game that aggressively, because if I do, I am going to get every single shiny before the DLC comes, which means what the heck am I going to be doing until the DLC comes? And then I will just hit the game as aggressively, and then we have the same problem. So, like, spacing it out, I think is a lot better. I think that spacing it out will be a much better system. Have Mimikyu. I do have Mimikyu. I needed Mimikyu in order to get the decks filled. There actually is a Mimikyu right here in Tag Tree Forest. I believe there's a static Mimikyu in here. I'm fairly certain almost every single Pokemon line in Scarlet Violet has a static spawn location, which is sort of to compensate for the fact that there are, like, random spawns. Yeah, I love Mimikyu. Like, Mimikyu is one of those Pokemon that, at first, I didn't think too much of, and then I was like, I love this thing. It's such an interesting concept, and also, I just think it's really neat. Though, there was one thing about Mimikyu that did make me really not like it that much, and that was the way people run it in doubles with Snorlax. It'd be cool if you read Shiny 2. Pokemon will be higher chance of being shiny. You read Shiny 2. Shiny 2. Not sure what you mean by that, Revan. Not sure what you mean by that. But yeah, I love Shiny Mimikyu. It's so good. It looks so nice. I love the grayscale. I love the grayscale. Like, I have mentioned before, I'm not the biggest fan of the custom designer shinies, as I call them, that Generation 6 started. But it's when they have the custom designer shinies that make sense. I'm okay with. Like, Mimikyu. Mimikyu is designed to look like, Gen 1 with the grayscale, and that makes sense. Hello, TKK Pokemon Collector. How are you doing? Welcome in. I think you've been here before. I think you've been here before, right? But welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for coming back. Yep. Low kicks. It is Iron Man Suitbug. It is Iron Man Suitbug. I love it. We still got to hunt for Shiny Nimble. I still need to hunt that one. Because, yeah, we got Shiny Low Kicks when we were hunting for Bisharp, which ran into it. Hey, Ash, how you doing? Can one of the mods please go do exclamation point Ash? That's above average. Nice. How you doing, Letsone? Saw you earlier in Sleepy Lunala's stream, but how are you doing? If you guys haven't done so already, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank y'all. About to hunt Mimikyu. Hope I get it. No, I reading 2 shinies. Yeah, there was only one game that ever happened in Chaos. Yes, you can get Beast Ball from the auctions. You can get Beast Balls from the auctions. It's just really stupid rare. Wait. Hey, we're getting raided by Fishy! Hello, pretty fly for a shy guy. Jaden K.I.? Is that K.I. or K1? Welcome in. It's Hopi, Mr. Shiny Gator, Tina, Just SXA, TD. Welcome in, Apple Burst. Welcome in, guys. How you guys doing? This is a raid getting ground. Nice. Hands are up. It's a raid. Gotcha. Okay, thank you very much. Nice. We are hunting for our 3rd shiny from the Cinderace family. We need, because we're doing Shiny Living decks. We have Reboot and we have Scorbunny. We're going for the full family. There is Domestic Fishy themselves. How are you doing, Mr. Fishy? How did your stream go? Did it go well? If you guys haven't done so, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. But what was your stream and how did it go, Fishy? Hopefully it went well. Hey, welcome in, Flimsy Sundew. How you doing? Just trying to get the Shiny Charmer now. Nice. TKK, what do you need for the Shiny Charm? Also, someone do exclamation point in Discord. If you guys haven't done so, please don't forget to join the Discord to stay up to date on everything we do here. Stay up to date on everything. Variety streams, Smash and Mario Party fun. Also, speaking of other things, if you guys are going to be doing the Greninja raids in the future, we have a video that Ace Trainer Al and I just put out today. That is the best Pokemon to use for beating the Greninja raid. We can one-shot that thing in 2 turns. Because we already know how much health Greninja is going to have, fitting in line with the way the previous 7 stars have been. And I crafted a foolproof strategy to one-shot that frog. Yeah, yeah. Oh, a lot of them. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I would say this is the most annoying Pokedex to fill out, TKK. It took me longer to fill out this dex than it took me to fill out Sword and Shields. Wait, does Mimikyu only spawn at night? No, Mimikyu spawns during the day, I'm fairly certain. I'm fairly certain Mimikyu does spawn during the day. It's just that it is stupid rare. It is a stupid rare spawn. I'm pretty sure it spawns in Tag Tree Forest, though. I'd recommend looking at Cerebi.net's interactive Paldea map, and just, like, scroll down to Mimikyu, click Mimikyu, and it will highlight on the map everywhere Mimikyu can potentially spawn. Stream's going very well. Stream is going very well. We are just working on hatching our Cinderace eggs, and just looking for shinies. We are also doing TERA raids. So if you guys got your level 5 raids, we are happy to assist with those. Though the gold background TERA raids, they do not drop Herba Mystica. Best to probably ignore those.
I know dev teams were different, but mass releasing the game 10 months earlier, not was one of those.
I mean, they had to rework the boxes very heavily. Yeah, Chaos. They had to rework the way the box system works, which is definitely a bit of a problem. Because this is one thing that you will notice about the boxes. It takes time for them to load in. Likely, that's one of the reasons there is no mass release, because look. You can't go to all boxes. In the previous games, you could just go to all boxes, and it would basically let you carry a Pokemon into this screen in Sword and Shield. You can't do that in this game. So, there were definite technical limitations, and that is a byproduct of this game is significantly more intense than what Legends was. Legends was peanuts compared to this game in terms of how intense the graphics is.
Water toxicity. Ooh, fun. Can anyone help finish the deck? Shield,
I'll be able to do on the toxicity. Toxicity. Water. Okay. I think Iron Hands, the face-punching metal machine, should be perfect for this. 8 shinies. Fun. Oh, what are those 8 shinies, TK? What are those shinies? I'm pretty sure I have a 5 IV Ditto. I know I have one back in my Sword and Shield, which I gotta bring up at some point. Yeah, I mean, I don't really mind about just, like, bottle capping my teams. Like, this is the amusing thing. For as much as I do competitive, I don't actually mind spamming bottle caps on preparing my stuff. I think it's because I just do so many TERA raids as is. I just just TERA raids and just Dynamax raids in general. That I just accumulate so many, I don't need to worry about it. But I definitely understand other people who want to get like the 5 IV Ditto to minimize their costs. Because I'm pretty much all day I'm just spamming TERA raids. I'm at, I think, 160 something bottle caps at this point. And I'm predicting once we get this game's DLC, if they do something like the Cramomatic, I'll be able to turn every 3 of those bottle caps into a gold bottle cap. Because yeah, for those who don't know, in the Isle of Armor, you could turn 3 regular bottle caps into a gold bottle cap if you put in the Cramomatic, slot 1 was a bottle cap, slot 2 was a bottle cap, slot 3, any random item, and slot 4 was a bottle cap. You'd always get a gold bottle cap. Camera. I'm pretty sure there's a button that just like recenters your camera. I think there's a button that automatically recenters your camera. Yeah, they make training so much easier every gen for competitive. Cause like Sun and Moon's bottle cap edition was a good first step. Sword and Shield's edition of experience candy, of the nature mints, of the ability patch was fantastic for just accessibility of competitive to everyone. And now this gen, they made even more of those. Because now hyper training is now level 50 rather than level 100. You can buy almost all of those items in stores without needing to go and like grind for a long time. The only The only item in the entire game for competitive prep that you can get exclusively from raids is the ability patch. That is it. It is exclusively the ability patch. And I'm fairly certain when the DLC comes, they're gonna add a way to buy the ability patch. So it was like, it's so good that they just made competitive far more accessible each and every gen, which I'm okay with. Because anything that reduces people's desire to gen and hack stuff in for battling or shinies is, in my opinion, a default good. Anything that reduces the desire to gen is a positive for me. Yeah, I have like probably a 50 ability patch at this point. I've even used a couple of them. Yeah, I'm expecting that Urban Mystica I don't think is that hard to get. I mean, if you're doing like the online raids and the raid search and doing the level 5s, you can generally get a good number of them relatively quick. I mean, it's not super fast, but I've in the last 24 hours, I've basically gotten at bare minimum probably 20 Urban Mystica, and it helps keep things going. And a lot of that is just because off stream, whenever I'm like scripting out videos or editing things, I will have my game running on in the background. So like I'll be like typing away here. I'll have my Switch off to the side and like, okay, go click the thing. Yeah, it's not that hard. Yeah, it's just time consuming. A lot of us do equate time consuming with hardness. That's kind of one of the reasons why a lot of people think the Gen 1 games are actually quite difficult. Because we tend to equate difficulty with just taking a long time. And it definitely does take a long time, and if you don't have like proper raid counters prepared, it definitely can take a while to like beat raids. They are quite difficult if you do not have proper counters, which is one of the reasons why I generally recommend like just get Iron Hands or Azumarill, because you give it Belly Drum, you give them a Shell Bell, and they just go to town on almost everything. You know, very few things can stand up to an Azumarill Belly Drum play rough or liquidation. I did that for like 2 hours and got 2 Urban Mystica. Yikes. Were you doing any of the were you doing only level 5 raids? Because only level 5 raids can drop Urban Mystica, I mean, and level 6s, but level 6s are just not worth doing. Also, if they are the gold background event raids, those have a 0 chance of dropping Urban Mystica. Yeah, I recommend, if you're doing raids, do not do the event raids, because they will never drop Urban Mystica. They are programmed to not drop them. So if you're okay, you do level, okay. Yeah, that could just be a bit of bad luck. I would recommend when you're looking for raids, prioritize level 5 Colossal, Blissey, Satitan, Amoonguss, and I forget the other 2. But there's like 5 or 6 raids to prioritize like doing and finding in the raid search feature, because those have the maximum number of Urban Mystica drop rolls, and those give you your best odds of getting Urban Mystica. Because I remember I did, I think it was like a Blissey or it was an Amoonguss earlier today, and I got 3 Urban Mystica from it. And I generally get more Urban Mystica from, say, Amoonguss and Blissey raids than I do from other raids, because they do have a better drop pool. Yeah. It's a bit of a process, but it also just does come down to a bit to luck. You know, it's like anything in Pokemon. When you're looking for something, there is an element of luck that goes into it. And that's one of the reasons why, like, I like to get together with friends, like, and do things like this, where, yeah, when it comes to raids, you know, we like to... Shiny Snorunt! Shiny Snorunt! And it's male. I needed this. I needed this! Little goldy boy, little blue boy. So what I do is protect. Good thing is, this thing has no way of knocking itself out. One more shiny chopped off the list. I also already have a shiny Frostlass, so I just need one more, and I got the whole snow cone family. I just need one more, and I got the whole snow cone. Protect. Little bean. Little bear snow cone. Yeah, my friend in Pokemon Go, he had a perfect IV female shiny Snorunt. And he evolved it into a Glalie. Because he thought he had another one, and he didn't have another one, so he couldn't evolve it into a Frostlass. That's what we call an L. That's what we call an L right there. Yep, Crispy Dude, thank you very much for popping in. If you guys haven't done so, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Yeah, we're hatching eggs right now, and I like to, whenever I'm hatching eggs, I just like to roam around the region, and just in case we find a shiny. Like, we have found so many more shinies randomly from hatching eggs that are ice type than are dedicated ice type shiny hunts. I find that hilarious. See, what event move did Larvitar get today in Go? Because I remember before that they did the Larvitar Community Day, it got Smackdown on Tyranitar. Did it get Smackdown again? And with that, shiny little ice cone. Shiny little snow cone. It is not marked. I love a shiny Snorunt. I love the blue. The blue is fantastic. I honestly thought it was a Bergmite for a second. I actually thought it was a Bergmite. Cause like it looks kind of like it's got the same like vague shape as a Bergmite. It's got the same like vague shape. See? It's got the same like vague shape as a Bergmite. Vaguely. Okay, not really. Okay, it's just me being blind. We'll add you to the list of the other shinies. Yeah, we have almost filled up 4 boxes with our shinies. We are at almost 120 shinies in the game since release. What Pokemon did you use to beat the game? In this file, Skeledirge, Glamora, Baxcalibur, Pommet, Arboliva, and Arboliva, Skeledirge, Baxcalibur, Pommet, Glamora. It wasn't Tinkaton. Was it Tinkaton? No, Tinkaton was in the other game. Tinkaton was in the other file. What the heck was it? What the freak was the other one? Oh, Veluza. Veluza was the one that I used in this file as well.
Someone help me get Scout Union Circle so I can hunt and run.
At some point, I am going to be doing a hunt for that. At some point, I'm going to be doing, Scarlet hunts. So at that point, I'll be doing a Union Circle for that if you guys want to do that. While I just, like, do other miscellaneous things in Scarlet. But one day I'll do that. But yeah. Just picked up some Pokemon, got Annihilate, and Annihilate the game. Yeah, I went into the game without knowing about any of the Pokemon. And the way that I play, like, for as competitively analytical as I am, I like to go into the game without knowing the stats, the moves, typings of anything. And just like, oh, this thing looks neat, I'm gonna use this. And then, like, using that as I play through. But anytime that I play the game, I like to make a grass, fire, water core. Like, I mean, I do this for, like, any battling I do. I like to make a grass, fire, water core. So I have a grass type, a water type, and a fire type on my team. Because it just gives me good variable responses to just about anything. But, and also, like, I will exclusively use Pokemon that are new in the game. I will not use, like, old gen stuff. Unless they get, like, an evolution in the thing. But then I wouldn't know when the evolution exists because I don't look up anything. But yeah, one of my friends, they said, I was reading about 2 Pokemon in the library. They were the Paradox Pokemon, and they said, knowing you, you're gonna want these 2 things on your team. It was Iron Thorns and Iron Jugulus. The funny thing is, I don't like either of them, despite the fact that they are based on Mecha King Ghidorah and Mecha Godzilla. And I am a massive Godzilla nerd. But you can't even get them until you beat the game, which is kind of annoying. But, like, I mean, it makes sense. The Paradox Pokemon are bonkers. You can only get, like, the Iron Treads or the Great Tusk. But I will say, I think Great Tusk, chef's kiss. Love Great Tusk.
Main thing that bothers me about the competitive is the mass game of follow the leader when people just copy the recent hot rental team and flood things.
Yeah, but the thing is, you gotta remember, that is the case of, like, anything. Like, that's gonna happen no matter what, because that is what people know is good. And when people know something is good, they will use that. That's one of the reasons why eventually when you get, like, higher in the ladders and, like, higher in the rankings, you don't see that as often. Because it's generally people who are lower on the ladder that might not have the same... Not to sound, like, elitist, but, like, they might not have the same, like, thought process, like, put together a team in the same way. Or they're just people that just, oh, this is what wins, I'll just go easy mode and just take what I know is working. The problem is, when using a rental team like that, you fundamentally do not understand how the team works. You may know how it plays, but you don't know why it works. Because only the creator of that team will know all the ins and outs of that team, unless they have made a very detailed write-up on this is what this Pokemon is meant to do, this is what it's meant to respond to, this is this, this is why these stats are this way, this is why this Pokemon was picked. You're not going to understand why everything was used, and so you're never going to be able to use it to the same level of effectiveness. That's why even despite me, asking Santino for his help on making a team, and him, like, giving me his full team write-up for his Colossal, back when he used in the Players' Cup, I would never be able to use his Colossal team to the same extent that he could. Because even with all the details I had, he still knew the ins and outs far better than I would ever know. A vehicle is only good as its driver. Exactly, Chaos. That is exactly the case. Like, you could use the best team in existence, but if you fail to understand the fundamentals about why the team was put together that specific way, you will never be able to beat as much with it, which is impossible because you will never be able to know all of the different outcomes they were foreseeing. You will know this is what it beat, because this is what you saw it beat, but a lot of that also goes into just the cleverness of the player themselves. You can have all the numbers, all the stats there is, but when it comes to decisions made in the battle, you will not have that same, like, insight they will. They will be able to make more informed decisions. A lot of the games, TKK, people will experience difficulty different, but amusingly, TKK, we actually have an entire series of videos that break down and analyze the difficulty of Pokemon games and really assess how hard were all of the Pokemon games and what was the hardest, what was the easiest, and what made them hard and what made them easy. So the exclamation point playlist, I think you're going to very much enjoy that. We do a very detailed breakdown of every single major team in every single major game. We are not going to be doing that for Scarlet and Violet, though. I know a lot of you guys really, really liked that. But for this game, it just would not work.
It's just me or is getting about matchup.
I would not say that is the case. That's one. I mean, well, that's probably like for singles, but even then, with singles, is not as much. With doubles, even a losing lead, you can still come back from. That's one of the reasons I love doubles so much. Even if you lose the lead in doubles, you can still do tech things. You can still do things that can give you an advantage in the late game. That's why I like doubles is fun. Doubles is a delight.
Yeah, the
goal is eventually to go with one of the big VGC regionals. Like that is something that I will one day do. And it really was I was talking with one of my friends, Paul, off screen. He's one of my friends. Like, he does a lot of competitive, and we're in draft leagues together, and we do a lot of battling, and we're all friends from high school. Well, middle school and high school. And, we were talking about, like, our experience with, like, VGC and regionals and things. And I said I would love to someday go to a regional with you guys. And he said, like, the exact same thing of, I would ever want to go to a regional if I could go with you guys. So, like, we were thinking the exact same thing. So, like, at some point, I would love to go to a regional. Like, I would like to go to a regional again and just battle them, because they are an experience. Even if you're not a great player, when, like, you don't know the metagame, you don't have, like, the most meta team built, there's a lot to be said for just going to one of those things, and it's an experience. It's a lot of the battlers are they're very nice. They are very respectful. I mean, there's definitely going to be people who are just kind of asshats at times, but, like, that's kind of how people are. But more often than not, like, when you go to the events, like, they're very nice. They'll ask you, oh yeah, how's your drive here? How's things been? How's your things going? And it's just, like, they're just very nice. And okay, that's annoying. And it's just going to them is just an experience. Have a good night, TKK. Have a good night. But yeah, I would love to go to another regional at some point, and it would be an experience just to go to them, because I haven't really talked too much about this before, but there was a very dark point in my life, and I honestly credit going to a regional with being what pulled me out of that very dark point, and really helped me get my mental health back on track. So it's like, even if, I'm not doing that well when it comes to battling in a certain metagame, that experience is always a light in the perpetual darkness. And it always makes me smile.
You gonna do the strat for Greninja with chat?
Potentially, yes. I am inevitable. I was happy to say that. Honestly, I love that. I love the I am inevitable line. It worked very, very well in that scene.
Do you think Pokemon will go interface with Scarlet somehow? Legal Dango. So I thought about the Legal Dango video, but
yeah, I have a feeling that they're definitely going to do some sort of connectivity with it. But remember, Go imports directly into Home, and Home connects into this. I don't think that it will be like a direct connection between them. I think it'll be intermediary through Home.
I think Dragonite would be Pokemon at least the first Pokemon I would want to be real.
I would honestly say the Pokemon I would want real the most is just Togekiss. Because that way I can just flinch hacks everything out of existence. That annoys me. Just shoot air lasers at everything. Though we all agree, the most OP Pokemon in real life, it would actually be Ditto. Like, Ditto would be the most powerful Pokemon in existence. Got a tiny Tyranitar. Noise. Yep, Melia the Togekiss. Yep, Melia the Togekiss. Melia the Togekiss. For those who don't know, back in Sword and Shield, I had a Togekiss that I ran competitively, and it was Melia the Togekiss. Because I generally nickname all of my competitive Pokemon. I will generally give them a nickname. And I had Melia the Togekiss, because I'm a big fan of Xenoblade. Love Melia. Best girl. And which is one of the reasons why I broke my one rule. When it comes to, like, media merchandise, I have one rule. And that is, I only buy figures of Godzilla monsters, or Transformers characters. I broke that one rule for Melia. Though, that does not exclude Pokemon plushies. I do love my sitting cuties. I do love me my sitting cuties. Though, honestly, I did not buy the Beldum. That was a prize from the Penn State Pokemon Society. I won one of the events, and for winning, my prize was I get my choice of a Sitting Cuties plushie. And naturally, Beldum. You'll agree. The thing is, I like the idea of, like, I like the idea behind Charla. It's just the way they executed her mechanically is garbage. Like, if she didn't play like crap, I think she wouldn't be that bad. Because, like, I like the idea that, yeah, as the heat meter on the rifle increases, her damage arts do more damage, and her healing arts do less damage. So you want to get as close to cool off as possible, and then you go damage, but then you go cool off. It's like, it was an interesting idea. It's just horribly executed. Clodsire is the boy. We love Clodsire. Clodsire is a wholesome and precious being who just wants head pats. We love it. Though I'd honestly say, as dark as it is, I'd probably want Kartana to be real, because I just love Kartana. It's like, no, just go my little origami paper thing / things. I love it. Yeah, Kartana's like freaking tiny. It's like this big. It's freaking tiny. And yet it can freaking like cut down a massive tower in one slash. I love it. I've never actually played Persona. I've heard very good things about the Persona games. At some point, I would like to play them. I've heard of very good things about it. It was on, like, I have sort of a running list of games that I would like to play, like, on my personal time or for the series, and Persona was on that list. But yeah, I still gotta work, but the thing is, I still have to work through Kirby in the Forgotten Land, Kirby's Return to Dreamland DX when that comes out, Metroid Dread, Fossil Fighters Frontier, that entire clusterfuck. Yeah, like, there is a very large part of me that wants to drop the Fossil Fighters Frontier series and just never resume it. However, I need to keep going with it. I made a statement that I would finish that game. That is true, another game to stream. That is true. But I kind of feel like for non-Pokemon games, I'd rather do a first-time playthrough in a recorded series. A lot with Splatoon. Like Splatoon was a bit different. Splatoon was like kind of its own animal. I still need to finish Splatoon. Oh, thank you for reminding me that I need to finish Splatoon. There's like 7 games I need to finish doing. I still need to also finish the Master Trainers and let's go. Like, I'm thinking one of these days, I'm going to need to knuckle down and really resume recording things, as in, like, the recorded Let's Plays. Right on, what best motor... Well, yeah, Motorcycle Raptor Bros. Motorcycle Raptor Bros. I love it. I don't get why people don't like them. I don't get why people don't like Miraidon and Koraidon. I think it's just after so many generations of having, like, god-level legendaries, or legendaries like, Zacian, who are utterly freaking broken competitively, I think it's a bit hard for us to go back to, like, basically legendaries like they were in Gen 1, where they're, like, kind of strong regular Pokemon. As soon as Chili King releases, so you report for about a week. Present my raid. I feel like because we got them so early in the game that with us basically told us to journey try. No, that makes sense too. But I think it's also like with, because a lot of people like say the same thing about like Zacian and Zamazenta, like, no, they're not legendaries. That they're not like these god level legendaries that we've kind of become used to over the past like several generations. That it's a bit of a break from that, like, norm. I always found that very amusing. That, like, there's that debate back and forth on whether the Ultra Beasts are legendary. The Ultra Beasts are not legendary. The Ultra Beasts are categorized officially as their own separate sub-thing. Same with Mythicals, actually. Like, yeah, amusingly, mythical Pokemon, they're not legendaries. In Japan, they've always been classified as their own separate branch of things. So glad that the Dondozo and Tatsugiri phase is done. I can access Start Routine. Exactly, the duck. Exactly. The dude, not the duck. Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I found Tatsugiri Dondozo amusing at first, because Beware the Silly Ones. But then after a while, it just got annoying. It just got annoying. So I'm glad it's gone now. And, like, it was funny for a few weeks. After that, can you please get the hell out of my game, you stupid catfish? Or do I have to bring the crow? If you could have one wish, make every Pokemon caught or bring them into the real world, do whatever I want, and they would obey me no matter what, the best friend. Nice. Yeah, one thing that I do like about Legends that they did was, they actually said that, yeah, the Arceus we know is not the actual Arceus. It is a fraction of the actual Arceus, it's just like a piece of it that is like a portion of its power. I'm pretty sure if you go to, like, the northeastmost edge, there's a little bit of a ledge. And, like, on that ledge is, like, a spot with an item. I think one is up there. I remember earlier in the stream we saw one that was up there. But also, you may want to go and just, like, get, like, a fairy encounter power sandwich or a ghost power encounter sandwich. And run that. That may make it a little bit easier for you to acquire the Mimi. But also, guys, again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And I found it, where's it anything? Oh, I'd recommend, honestly, just doing a Masuda hunt for it. I'd recommend just Masuda hunting for it. Wait. Speaking of shiny! Speaking of shiny! And I already have a shiny Abomasnow. And I already have a shiny Abomasnow back in my shield version. So that is the Abomasnow family. Let's go, people. Let's frickin' go. Two shiny ice types. Two shiny ice types. I love it.
It is delightful. Now just like down, just fast forward through this whole thing. Now we just spam B. Yeah, because like there's a little bit of a button on the back of my controller right here, and I can just like press that, and it counts as B for some reason. The guards is basically training us to the perfect trainer, to the perfect human for some reason. Let the master plan of the least legends. I mean, I think that the whole thing with that is Legends was a tech demo. I think we're reading a bit too much into Legends, and that it was just a tech demo for Scarlet Violet. I think we were reading into it was just a tech demo. And with that, 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes full of shinies. That is what 120 shiny Pokemon looks like. We are roughly we are somewhere between 30 and 40% done with our shiny living decks in this game. And that is within about 2 months of release of the game. In reality, probably a month and a half of dedicated shiny hunting. You gotta remember, Cactus, I go out of my way to shiny hunt, and I have been dedicated aggressively shiny hunting. I'm surprised I noticed that Snover was shiny. I think my competitor team is good. Okay, let's see what this team is, dude. I'm curious to see what this team is. Is this for Series 1 or for Series 2? Give me good luck shiny hunting. Found 2 shinies. Nice. What were those 2 shinies, Yoda? Alright, I'll be able to help you. Yeah, Glacidio Mountain is probably the worst place to be hatching eggs, all things considered. I found the exact number of shinies I have in one. I've found 9 shinies in one stream once. I have found 9 shinies in one stream. I'm doing a random starter Masuda hunt. Started the game. Goldengo, Talonflame, Tinkaton, Amoonguss, Zoroark, Gastrodon. Series 2. Interesting. Not running any paradoxes. I respect that. I respect that. Yeah, I love that. Like, I love how Xenoblade fakes you out so many times on who the actual bad guy of the game is. I love it. It's like, it's one of the few games to effectively fake out people. Like, it fakes you out so well. It's something that really I've only seen other games do. Like, Mystery and Explorers of Sky have, like, done it very, very well. Arcadet female, shiny Sawsbuck male. So you found 9 shinies in a stream before. Yeah. Who is the Florida? Both of you are the Florida men. You are both the Florida men. I think Metal Phase is the main villain, but yeah, it's like the game does so many good fake outs. Welcome in, Brody. Again, guys, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Also, love the Miraidon logo. What if is the brutal death plus like? Yeah, it's like. Metal Face's death is brutal. It's like a giant metal spike falls from like several hundred feet above him, nails him to a metal platform, and then he falls like thousands of feet. It's like, dang. Like,
Man goes out hard. Man goes out freaking hardcore.
There's a Pokemon like Murkrow, Miraidon.
I mean, I wouldn't say Murkrow is stupid. Like, Murkrow is a very solid play. Like, Murkrow is one of the best tech users in the game. Because, like, Haze is such a good move. Like, the ability to debuff moves, like, debuff Pokemon, like, remove debuffs from, like, your allies and remove your enemy buffs is a fantastic thing. I just think the one issue that it has is it's not the bulkiest thing, and it relies heavily on the use of its Violite. But, like, it's been very good. Only if it's at full health, though. Only if the Talonflame is at full health, and also Talonflame doesn't really do much outside of Tailwind setup, and it doesn't really have the bulk. Yeah, Talonflame is like all speed, but the issue is when you're punching up against other priority users, you kind of get a bit bodied. Yeah, like, Talonflame's main issue is the fact that it's very, very frail. Because it needed to be like this offensive support hybrid sort of thing, and its best moves deal a lot of recoil damage to it. Whereas Murkrow has foul play, which, like, screws over every single physical attacker in existence. As well as, like, Haze negates any single one of your buffs. And, like, I'm a big fan of, like, Draco Meteor Haze on my Hydreigon. Or, if an Annihilate is going for bulk ups, okay, all your bulk ups are gone. Thank you for coming. You're gone now. Yeah, it comes down to, like, different playstyles. I like the pure support tack that Murkrow brings. Plus, like, Murkrow gets Thunder Wave. Like, Murkrow gets so much fun tack. Like, I love Haze. Getting rid of, like, Intimidates. But also, oh, I can just go Quash. I can just use Quash on you and make you go last no matter what. Because yeah, there was one game I was doing where my Gastrodon was spamming Icy Wind. And this guy had, like, Tailwind up, and he was doing so many things to, like, try and get speed going, but I was just always using Quash on them, and they didn't realize Quash was making them go last. They weren't realizing it was not speed control, it was just me using Quash on them the entire time that made them go last. And I freaked. Wait, what? I'm sorry, what? What the freak was that? Nice! Yeah, we have a shiny Goomy. We got that during the hunt with Sly Guy. The shiny race with Sly Guy. I lost that shiny race with him. We got a shiny Goomy out of it. So that was productive. We had two. I should probably save. You know what? I just thought I should probably save in case something happens. Because we got two shiny ice types today, and I don't want to lose them. Shiny Snover and shiny Snorunt. To be fair, Alex. To be fair, that's a game engine thing. That's not a game programming thing. That's a game engine thing. Because, like, the game engine that they're using for Scarlet Violet, it is not suited to the task. But the thing is, to go and build a game engine that would be suited to this would basically blow the cost of the game to the extreme. And the game we got would have nowhere near the same quality of content that this game actually has in terms of, like, story. So it's kind of like a lesser of two evils, Because remember, they're already working on the Switch's successor console, and it wouldn't make sense to build a new game engine for a Pokemon game, then right after need to make another game engine from scratch and have like the cost just absorbed by both games. It makes sense. Just okay, we'll take the bullet on Scarlet Violet, and we'll make a more suitable engine for Gen 10 or whatever the Generation 9 spin-offs are going to be on the next console. But yeah, I'm not going to be too sad when the Switch leaves, because, like, the Switch is still going to be a workhorse. Like, remember, the Switch came out how many years ago, and the 3DS was still chugging along for however many years. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't play Smogon, because, like, VGC doesn't ban stuff outside of, like, legendaries and restricted, and they let them in after a couple of months. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in letting the Ruins legendaries, because they're so bad. Not really. They're already shifting all development work onto the next console. They are starting to shift. Every major development team has shifted over to work on games for the new console. And the last, like, third-party major Nintendo release for the Switch is likely going to be Breath of the Wild 2, because it's the only dev team game that is still being worked on that is for the Switch. All the others are working on, like, the Switch's successor games. Nice! It's always good to get shinies from eggs very quickly. But yeah, like, they're already shifting work onto the next console. The reason why Pokemon has not shifted over there is a bit of an interesting quirk about Pokemon. Because Pokemon is not Nintendo. Game Freak is its own separate studio. They actually, like, work on their own stuff. Which is why, like, they can still be working on stuff, and they don't, like, fall under that classification of things. It's very weird. But yeah, there's... Wait, no, this should be at 50 then. Yeah, this should be 50 then. I lost count. Well, the thing is, Caleb, he wasn't even the... thing is, he wasn't even the actual god. He wasn't really... They explain why. They explain why it works. They explain why the sword works. And falling off the back of my remote, and it's agitating me to go fix it. But yeah, I'm... They're shifting over development work onto the next console's games. And, I mean, I think... I think that they're just shifting on work to the other stuff. But we're not going to have the Switch's successor be released probably for a couple of years. And use something different like... Wait, what? When people say competitive, stop using legendary Pokemon and use something... I mean... The funny thing is that it's not... Like, if something like Landorus was a 3-stage Pokemon, if something like, say, Cresselia was like a 3-stage Pokemon, no one would have any issues with it. It's just because they're legendary, people find them, like, easy to rail against. Like, people find it very easy to rail against legendaries because, like, they're legendaries. They're, like, an easy target. But if you have something like Landorus, then it was a 3-stage evolutionary family, it wouldn't really get as blasted. It took something as obnoxious as Incineroar for people to start blasting 3-stage Pokemon. I'll be for the Hariyama. Monado. The answer is the Monado. Because the Monado lets you see the future. The Monado lets you see the future. 8, 9. Is it Fire Hariyama? Correct. Okay. Fire Hariyama, high physical defense. Well, no, it's high HP. It's an HP sponge. All right, let's see. What are the stats on Hariyama? I'm pretty sure it's like special defense is lower. But like it's not by much. Let's check. Hariyama, Generation 9 stats. Okay, mixed. Okay, mixed even stats in both defenses. Okay. I think I should just go with Iron Hands, cause like, yeah, I think I'll just go Iron Hands. Iron Hands down, the best way to do. This is a list miracle, but they throw exactly the dude. See, you understand me. You understand me. How would they be working on the new console if they're not. They're not going to be releasing a new Switch. The reason why is the chip shortage. Yeah, they're not going to be releasing another version of the Switch, which honestly I think is a better thing to do than just, because there's nothing more annoying than a system comes out, then like 5 years into the Switch's just like the system's life cycle, oh, here's like better version of the system that can play more games. And it's just annoying because like, well, you gotta pay the same thing again, and then like 4 years later, oh, we're having a new system come out, and that's the same shit all over again. Because like, at least with the OLED wasn't a massive hardware upgrade. It had like a little bit of a bigger screen, but it wasn't like, say, if you want to play, like, you know, all these games, you need to have the latest thing. It's a little bit of an improvement, but it's not like a massive upgrade. Probably not. Probably not. Because, like, I feel like I might do that for, like, some special thing. Like a subscriber special thing. Yeah. The OLED just has, like, the same graphics and a slightly bigger screen. The OLED wasn't a significant upgrade in terms of technical performance. It wasn't like there's only games you can play on the OLED that you can't play on the regulars. Like, my stance is, I mean, I have the new 3DS XL, so I can play Xenoblade Chronicles. But Xenoblade Chronicles for DS. I don't play it anymore, but I can play it if I want. But nothing would be more annoying than them releasing the 3DS XL, but like a few years later, oh, here's the new 3DS XL. You can play Xenoblade Chronicles on it, but you can't play it on the regular version. That would piss me off to no end. So, not having, like, the Switch OLED Mark II that can play, like, some and such games that you can't play on the regulars, I think it's a good thing. So, switching over development to the Switch's successor, I think is the best thing, just because it won't piss people off, really. Yeah, the OLED is only an upgrade if you play handheld. And I never play handheld, I always play docked. I exclusively play docked. Yeah, Xenoblade did deserve a remake. Honestly, Definitive Edition, there's only one thing about Definitive Edition I do not like, and it's that the graphics of some of the characters is more Chronicles 2 styled, whereas the backgrounds are the more dark and gritty design of the original. And it makes the characters stick out in a lot of cases in a way that just makes them look very weird.
You know, it creates this sort of like disjoint between the background and the characters. I don't really like that. I would not say Gastrodon is forgotten. Gastrodon is the absolute hero on this channel, dude. Gastrodon is like the channel hero. Below Togekiss and Metagross, I would say that thing is like the third mascot of the channel. No, we do not know what the next console is going to be called. Like, the next console will probably come out in like 3 years. You know, 3, maybe 4 years is likely when we're going to get the Switch's successor. We don't know what it's going to be called yet, but we don't. They don't release that for a while. Like, remember, it wasn't until like relatively close to the release of the Switch that we knew what the Switch was going to be called. Up until then, it was just called the NX. Both of them are fantastic, but I personally prefer the pink. Because tough guys wear pink. I love Pink Gary the Gastrodon. Yes, we refer to all Gastrodon on this channel as Gary. Because we have had many Gastrodon throughout many playthroughs, through many draft leagues, through many battles, and they have seen us through the darkest hours. And they are the hero named Gary. The Wii U was just a prototype Switch. The Wii U was a freaking Switch prototype. I mean, like, the Wii U... Honestly, I kind of hate to think about this, but I feel like the Wii U's flop is what encouraged Nintendo to make, like, Mark 1.2 iterations of some of the consoles. Because rather than making, like, a sudden jump to a brand new technology piece, they would gradually increment additions to the systems. You're the Gastrodon. What am I supposed to present? What is that from, Alex? What is that from? Oh, the console PS2, Game Boy, Switch, and yeah, it's GameCube. I love the Nintendo naming scheme. Yeah, Arcanine was originally supposed to be a legendary Pokemon in the original games, but they removed it. So the Wii U was like, I mean, I think a lot of people dislike the Wii U. Oh, nice getting a shiny Metagross. Nice. I think a lot of people just dislike the Wii U because, like, the gamepad is kind of not great. It's kind of one of those things where it's like there were a lot of hopes the Wii U had to put on it, and it didn't really live up to those hopes. Because there was for a long time where people just thought the Wii U was an additional, like, peripheral attachment to the Wii. Like, people didn't realize it was a brand new console. I mean, we try to keep swearing out of the chat. In my experience, the main reason people don't like the Wii U is a lot of games that could be hacked easily, like Splatoon. One of the main reasons the game had a lot. I always heard it was from just the gamepad being the gamepad, and I mean, the other thing is that you're following up the Wii. The Wii was one of the most generation-defining systems there was. Like, I would say, other than the DS family of systems, there was no other game system that defined a generation in the same way that the Wii did. And then you follow that up with a system that kind of underwhelms. You're not looking at a recipe for success. Follow Me is very fun in doubles. I enjoy Follow Me in doubles when I am using it to screw people over. The best name is... Yeah, honestly, I love... The Famicom is a great name, and it isn't a shortening of Family Computer. It's so simple, and I love it. I do wish that they kept the GameCube's code name, though, when it was in development. The Dolphin.
Like, I'm gonna be playing my Nintendo Dolphin. Like, that just sounds so much more impressive than the GameCube. Though, because the GameCube existed, we did get the "it's spherical! Spherical!" from Drake and Josh. So, I'll allow it. I'll allow it. The Dolphin has left the shelf. Yes, we love the Dolphin. Like, the Dolphin was a great name for a system. My experience, I mean, yeah, I read that, Taylor. Menace like 7 minutes, 7 on a rage. Want me to run around and see what raises you can do? Yeah. Wait, what were you about to say? Hey, Alex, don't please go grab Al's link. How you doing, Al? Wait, what were you about to say, Alex? A lot of experiences I had with Wii U. Like, honestly, I never had a Wii U. Granted, the time that the Wii U... Yeah, but the Dolphin is such a great name! We love dolphins. Who doesn't love dolphins? Who doesn't love dolphins? They're great. It's always like the best on the console all the time. I'm gonna finish my egg power sandwich. Yeah, it's kind of sad that like the N64 disk drive failed because that would have been such a crazy awesome idea. Sharks don't like dolphins. Dolphins are brutal. Yeah, I mean, but you gotta respect that dolphins have the cojones to ram their noses into sharks. They will ram a shark in the gills to kill them. Anything that has the cojones to face a shark one-on-one, I think that deserves a little bit of respect. Like, they will fight sharks. They will fight great white sharks. Also, orca whales are technically dolphins, and orcas are kind of awesome. No, regular dolphins do that too. Like, regular dolphins will ram sharks. It's not just killer whales. Yeah, killer whales fight sharks too, yeah. But also, like, dolphins. Yeah, but whales are just kind of, like, big and lumbery. Dolphins are, like, small and, like, do tricks. And they're kind of amusing. Dolphins are amusing. Dolphins are very amusing. It's a big, blue whale. Yeah, apparently, it's an interesting thing. Apparently, scientists believe the orca whale is the reason the megalodon went extinct. So, like, we have orcas to thank for basically killing the megalodon. I've seen Evo episode 5, the nose. You want to nose ram shark gills. The nose. Yeah, like the nose of a dolphin. I know, orcas are huge. Yeah, they're giant dolphins. Orcas are just giant dolphins. Yeah, apparently, like, the nose of a dolphin is called, like, the rostrum, which means, like, ram. Their noses are literally rams. I love it. Their nose is literally a battering ram. So in the Pokemon world, the game keeps coding this thing. Yes. Exactly. Well, no. In the Pokemon games, we have seen they canonically use the real name of the consoles. Like, we have, like, the Switch in Let's Go. There's, like, the Game Boy, the Wii, the Wii U. So I guess the code name was the Finizen. Now Marine Land commercials ad. Can I DM you a picture of Igor? Sure, you can send that, Michael. You can send that. Thank you, Omar, for grabbing Al's link. Thank you for grabbing it. Was that the dolphin in the ocean? The dolphin. The dolphin. We don't need it because one, he has the cheapest moveset ever. Just follow me, protect your trick room, helping hand. Yeah. I mean, I enjoy using Indeedee in, like, some of my double battles. Because Psychic Terrain is good for preventing priority. But man, that thing gets annoying. I'm just glad it doesn't have Expanding Force anymore. Like, when that thing had Expanding Force, it did way more damage than any support Pokemon should be allowed to do. Support Pokemon should not be allowed to do that much damage. Would be an electric killer. Like Toadster. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to finish the rest of these eggs, and then we're going to call it a night. I think we're going to call it a night after we finish the rest of the eggs we have. Protected uses because you can't attack either. Yeah. I mean, Indeedee's moveset has changed with the removal of Expanding Force. Because you gotta remember, even a Pokemon that is all support, it does need at least one attacking move. Because if it gets taunted, it does, like, need something it can do to bide out the time. So, like, no Pokemon in doubles will run exclusively support moves. You know, they will always have one offensive move. Like, Grimmsnarl has Spirit Break. Whimsicott will have, like, Energy Ball or, like, generally Moonblast. So, like, most support one, except for example, you can Shadow Ball opposing Psychic types and DD use Follow Me, immune to Psychic, and then Combine. Yeah. I mean, to be fair though, the dude, that is one of the things about doubles. You know, that is one of the reasons why doubles, you know, is what it is. That is a strategy. And it's one of the reasons I'm very sad Duraludon is gone. Because there was a very simple way to shut down those strategies back in Sword and Shield. And that was just Duraludon. Like, Duraludon was such a massive threat to Hatterene on Trick Room teams in VGC in, like, throughout Sword and Shield, that Hatterene would run Berry specifically because Duraludon flash cannons were so dangerous to it. Because they bypassed Follow Me and made Indeedee completely obsolete. So, people would just start teching Unnerve Corviknight onto teams with Duraludon to screw over Hatterene again. Which would force people to then Dynamax their Hatterene to not get bodied. So the Duraludon would Dynamax themselves. It's like, I love it. Like, that's the back and forth I love about doubles. Leech Life, Poison Powder, Sand Attack, Recover. I think Mental Phase will be... Not really sure, Killchain, not exactly. Leech Life is really not a great move. When aside from something like, say, like Golisopod or Buzzwole, not a whole lot of things really like using Leech Life because they need to have a low amount of health, high defensive stats, and a high attack stat, which not a lot of the bug types actually get. Only one more Pokemon to go before I can read the Pokédex. Oh, what's the last Pokemon you need, Alex? What is the last Pokemon you need? 5, 7, S, H, 8, 7. There we go. And yeah, Momcar was voted most likely to betray his comrades in high school. Yep. Honestly, I like Momcar. It's like, I like his character. He reminds me a lot of Starscream. And I'm a big fan of Transformers Starscream. I meant to say they give you HP every turn. Oh, they give you HP every turn. Okay. Not many moves do that. There's not many moves that do that. But you might be thinking like Leftovers as a held item. You might be thinking Leftovers as a held item. Bad news. It's Miraidon. Oh, I cannot help you with that then. Because I don't have my Miraidon from Area 0. Yeah. I didn't catch my Area 0 Miraidon. Yeah, Leech Seed. Yes. Okay, thank you very much, Darth Revan. Always happy to have these raids. I do enjoy the Urban Mystica. The funny thing is, Shedinja wouldn't be a problem in this game, the dude. Shedinja would be a non-existent Pokemon, even if it got Terra Electric. Because even if it went Terra Electric with Air Balloon into Wonder Guard, okay, Sand. Absolutely destroys it. Any form of status setup, like, you know, Toxic, or like Toxic, Will-O-Wisp, completely eliminate it. And then there's the other thing of, there are a number of abilities that bypass Wonder Guard. Also some moves that bypass abilities. And it would completely shut Shedinja down. Yeah, it's like, this is the thing about Shedinja. Shedinja's invincibility is a meme. In reality, Shedinja is probably the most vulnerable Pokemon in existence. Because one set, you know, one potential set could, you know, body a large number of things, but it also has to expose itself to probably 15 other things that can completely destroy it. As well as Mold Breaker completely obsoletes its existence. You know, so long as Mold Breaker exists, Shedinja will always be in peril. Then there is, you know, Sand. Then there is, like, there's just all of these things that completely body Shedinja. Getting something crucial for Shedinja, the use of Shed Tail Salazar into Shedinja Electric Terra type. Nope. Mold Breaker, it still bypasses Wonder Guard, so it could still hit the Shed Tail sub. The other thing is Sand. Sand would be in play, and Sand would completely eliminate Shedinja because Weather still hits through Substitute. So yeah, there's multiple ways to beat Shedinja. There's a large number of ways to beat Shedinja. It's just that as time has gone on, a lot of memes have, like, propped up about Shedinja's invincibility, that we tend to think of Shedinja as being completely invincible, when it's really the furthest thing from anything. It's very easy to take down. It's just that a lot of what takes it down are not direct damaging moves, and I would say a solid 99.5% of the fan base of Pokemon exclusively uses damaging moves. So it's kind of one of those things that never really haps to us. Well, I mean, they probably gave Annihilate Defiant because its pre-evolved forms also naturally had Defiant. I think that might be why. But yeah, it's like, Shedinja, even if it was in the game, it would be nothing. Shedinja would be a non-factor, because it's very telling that Shedinja only ever sees VGC play in formats where the box art restricted legendaries are in play. Because at that level, Tyranitar is a non-factor. And strangely, almost all restricted legendaries don't really have moves that can hit Shedinja, because just the typings that they are don't really lend themselves to being hit by and wanting to use, like, Flying Rock or, like, bug moves. There are Dark and Ghost moves that you do see thrown around a lot, but most teams, when restricted legendaries are in play, will only have, like, 1 or 2 moves that can hit Shedinja, which is why Shedinja sees play there. But even then, it's a very, very niche Pokemon. Especially with Incineroar just existing, Shedinja's entire presence is called into question. But yeah, it's like, Shedinja really isn't that big of a threat. Shedinja is not that big of a threat. They're probably not gonna do the 6-star raid. I kind of don't really do level 6 raids because they don't, like, their rewards are a barely improvement over the level 5 raid pool, and they're just a lot more annoying to deal with. Hasta la vista. Bye-bye, Darth. But yeah, Shedinja wouldn't be a factor in this game, even if it was able to get terastallized. But yeah, It's one of those things where the meme of Shedinja's immortality has kind of taken on a life of its own, to the point where people do think that Shedinja would be invincible that way, when there's a number of ways to easily take it down. Plus, the other thing is, if you see Salazar on the same team as a Shedinja, you'd already know immediately it's going into that with a substitute. And if I just, like, turn one Snarl... Because remember, it doesn't become Electric TERA type until the next turn. So it needs to be on the field for one turn, meaning the turn it switches in. Okay, I just go for Snarl. And that would bypass the substitute, hitting the then Ghost-type Shedinja, and eliminating it. Eliminating it from the field. So, like, the Salazar strategy wouldn't really work that well. Like, that's... Like, Shedinja is a cheap gimmick. It is, in every instance of its play, a cheap gimmick outside of the most recent worlds, where someone did bring Shedinja to Clown on Ghost Rider Calyrex. Not Ghost Rider, Ice Rider Calyrex. It's always been a gimmick. And the reason why it worked with the Calyrex is that Ice Calyrex was generally seen as better than the others. And when you're not really dealing with the other one, you don't really bring Dark or Ghost moves. So you could afford that, and if you put safety goggles on it, it can't be hit by the hail. Which means that you don't need Sash. Hear me out, Shedinja might be the most kind of Pokemon because of typing to make new typing. Just because trying to make new typing types of invincible Shedinja. I don't really agree on that, Michael. The thing is, there is no possible way to make it an invincible Shedinja. That is an impossibility. Because there is no way that Shedinja can permanently have invincibility from status, from hazards, from weather, and have its 1 HP not be removed. There's always going to be numerous ways of beating Shedinja, because as long as the ability Mold Breaker exists, Wonder Guard and any ability it gets will always be called into question. Because there's also moves that will bypass abilities. I know off the top of my head 3 of them. They are the Light Trio, the Legendaries from Sun and Moon. All of their signature moves bypass abilities. And if you have, a Shedinja that has, like, safety goggles to get rid of weather, well then, not hazards, then, like, status moves like Toxic or Will-O-Wisp, they would kill it. And if you have, say, like, the Air Balloon Electric Shedinja so it doesn't get hit by a typing, then you can't have Misty Terrain to prevent it from getting status, because if you're a levitating Pokemon, you don't get affected by terrains. Yeah, there is realistically no way to create an invincible Shedinja, simply down to the requirements for making an invincible Shedinja need to cover too many bases than Pokemon are able to cover simultaneously. Because you need something with Cloud 9 for an ability to prevent weather. But even then, that Pokemon is a massive glowing target. You take that Pokemon out, weather's back in play, Shedinja's dead. But it's like with, like, the Shuckle doing that much damage thing, where it's one of these, like, immortal memes that I feel like almost has to exist in the Pokemon community. Because it's just gone on for so long, it will never, like, be accepted that this is impossible. It will, like, always persist throughout all of time for that reason. Yeah, Giraffii is something. I'm not a fan of it, I just don't like its design. But, like, it's very annoying in competitive. I've seen strategies of you put Giraffii next to a Scizor, and then you copy Flash Fire. So that way, Scizor has no weakness. And that terrifies me, because, like, it's a Scizor. Yeah, it loses Technician, but, like, it now has no weakness. You know, it's Steel Bug is a fantastic typing. And cracking that without hitting a weakness is definitely a problem. Yes, I mean, slacking is... The issue with the slacking, though, is... For as good as slacking can be, we have seen an unbound slacking before. With, Wheezing. It's a bit of a derivation of the Reggie Wheeze strategy. It definitely can put in work. But the other thing is that it is still a physical attacker. And unlike with Wheezing, it does not shut off Intimidate. So, Intimidate switch-ins would still cripple it very easily. Because then you have to switch it out, and then switching out would reset its ability back to Truant. It's kind of one of the issues of, like, having a Pokemon that is entirely dependent on another Pokemon being present, that if that link is removed from the chain, the whole house of cards falls. You don't want to Azumarill double battle if one is dead. Yeah, but the thing is, Azumarill really doesn't see a lot of doubles play. Yeah, Azumarill doesn't actually see a lot of doubles play. And the other thing is that you are dedicating a lot of your team to a support thing like that. And something like that is very easy to see coming and relatively easy to shut down. So far, I've been Quaxly or Squirrel Bunny out of all the starters I've been breeding with. Oh boy. Also, what starters have you been having in your party when you've been going for the eggs? And is one of them female? Because one of them is female, that would make sense. But yeah, I feel that Doodle as an ability is just a bit too inconsistent. Yeah, Doodle as an ability is far too inconsistent, especially with Psychic Terrain being in play. Because with the release of Series 2, there's been a big increase in Trick Room teams, and as a result, a big increase in Indeedee usage. So Prankster Doodle would just simply fail because Psychic Terrain blocks priority moves. Which means that Garifai is going to need to spec into not having Prankster as an ability if it wants to do that. But then the issue with that comes in that Prankster is the entire reason for Garifai's existence. Which is problematic. So yeah, it's basically a complex thing of that. We're wondering about inner focus on Umbreon. Yeah, inner focus is like what Umbreon runs. Charizard, Cinderace, Pokeball, Killer, isn't that? Yeah, it'd be very good for it. It would be very good for it. But I think that Synchronize might be potentially better because if it has any status infliction, being able to rebound that status back on. Well, then again, you can't poison a poison type, so actually, probably inner focus probably would be best. But inner focus would probably be best, but there's a bit of a wiggle room for it. Okay. If you needed a hidden ability one, Andreas, I could have gotten you one. I could have gotten you one if you needed it, Andreas. I have more hidden ability stuff than I need. You didn't need to spend your own precious ability patches. No, my turn. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the Eevee family hunt for the shiny living decks. I'm not looking forward to that. Because I have I have Vaporeon already. And I know a location to easily hunt Jolteon. But going for the others is going to be a massive pain in the gonads. Actually, now that we are winding down to the end of the stream, I am gonna need to go look for a raid target when mana does. I believe Cinderace collects all the only Pokemon. Everyone. No, it is not. The Destiny not only passes down IVs. You can reset. What do you mean reset in Cortinat? What do you mean reset? You mean like date skip? Because I don't do date skipping. Is there something that allows you to reset your raids? Because if there's something that allows you to reset your raids daily that isn't like date skipping, that's new. Oh yeah, I don't do clock reset. Yeah, I do not do clock resetting. It raises risen outbreaks. Yeah, you mean like the date reset one? Or is it like if you go in there and like you do something in Cortinado, it changes things? I'll need to go get a little bit of information on that from like off stream. Yeah, I don't do date resetting. Yeah, I don't do date resetting. It's kind of one of those things where I just kind of don't feel comfortable doing. Yeah, I don't know, like time resetting is just kind of one of those things that I'm not super duper comfortable with. But I know who are gonna go raid. I know who we are going to go raid. But yeah, I got a plan. Oh yeah, Glalie is the one target. Right, it was Glalie was like one of the other targets for that. That gives them. But yeah, I know who we're gonna raid. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are EV outbreaks. I'm pretty sure there are EV outbreaks, but I mean I can just figure that out later at some point. I'm pretty sure there's a way to figure that out otherwise. But yeah. Also, guys, again, if you haven't done so already, please do not forget to leave a like and subscribe. Final 5 batch of eggs. Oh, not 5. Final 10 batches of eggs. But yeah, I'm gonna need to figure out like my better hunting methods for the future stuff. Cause shiny hunting for the Eevee family is gonna be annoying. I also need to go check my legends file to make sure if I have a shiny. Cause I feel like I have a shiny Magikarp on there, and I feel like I have a shiny Eevee or 2, maybe 2 of them. But I just need to make sure for future stuff. Captain Kid. Captain Kid. Yeah, I am glad that they made a fire grass type finally. And I'm kind of glad it doesn't have great stats. Because, like, if Scovillain had a better stat spread, I think that thing would be not unstoppable, but a menace competitively. I think that thing would be an absolute menace if it wasn't, like, gimped by a bad stat spread. Because we don't really realize how amazing of a type combination grass and fire is. You know, the reason why fire types that run sun teams love Solar Beam is every single weakness that fire has is weak to grass. And a number of things that grass is weak to, fire is very good against. Literally hatching duck and rabbit, that's why no crocodile, lizard, or cat. Weird. Is one of them female? Are any of them female? Because if one of them is, that may be why. But that's weird. Nice! That's Cal getting a shot to ring bite. Very nice. But yeah, I've got plans for I got plans for stuff and things. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to a couple of the future hunts because I know they're not gonna be the most pleasant. But I don't think any of our hunts are ever going to be worse than Ho-Oh. Like, okay. I have had a hunt that is worse than Ho-Oh. I have had a hunt that is worse than Ho-Oh, and that was the Carcadet hunt, where I went 10 times over odds at minimum before getting that thing, which I have said before and I will always say again, I am very, very glad I was not recording or streaming when I did that hunt, because there would have been a lot of swearing. Freaking over 5 hours of sandwich, no shiny, reset. There was a lot of cussing when that happened. I am super glad I wasn't live during it. The worst part is I only got 2 Carcada out of that. Because yeah, right after I got the first one, after 10 hours, I got a second one like within the same sandwich. And I still need to go for one more of those freaking things. I still need to get one more shiny Carcadet for the family. So, like, I'm not looking forward to that. That's why I'm waiting for a Carcadet outbreak before I go and do that. I'm fairly certain Carcadet does outbreak. But these are going to be the final 5 eggs. Floette. Yeah. Oh, Flababy. Right, Flababy. I get Flababy and Floette mixed up all the time. It's like with Rhydon and Rhyhorn, I mix them up all the time. Mostly because I don't care enough. Where are you hunting at? I'm right outside Asado Desert. This little path over here. I'm not really hunting right now. I'm just hatching the rest of these eggs. I'm just speeding through as fast as possible at breakneck speed. Oh, where were I? Oh, actually, I was actually, like, hunting right here. Like, I was actually hunting literally right around here. It was literally this spot right here where I was hunting. Where if you stand, like, right here. I think it was, like, right here or something. They will only spawn in front of you. And I would just, like, go into camera and just, like, look right here. Do like a fisheye lens. I would just right here, and they would always spawn like right here. They would spawn like single file right here. That's where I was looking. It took 10 sandwiches for me to get them. That's why I like lost it with anger. Yeah, this grass fire because grass move and yeah, it is weak to flying. It is weak to rock. It is weak to poison. And rock is weak to grass. So like your options for that are very, very limited. Like that's why I actually really like Scovillain as a concept. But the idea of like what it actually has is just not great in terms of its like stats, because you're talking about something that has 65 in both defenses. And has like 65 in both defenses, I think 65 HP. Only like 100 or 108 physical attack and 108 special attack. And, I mean, speed isn't as big of an issue because it does get chlorophyll to get pretty quick. But it's so frail. You know, it's a very, very frail Pokemon. And that is a huge issue for it. Gotta go as close to raid. I think that we'll close out on that. We will close out on the Cloyster raid. Yeah, cause it's not one of the boosted ones. So yeah, that'll be good. We'll be able to close out on that raid. I will be happy to do that. The thing is, I don't think it would need better speed. I think what it really needs is a better defenses and better... It needs better defenses and a better offensive set. What it needs is to not be so split in terms of its stats. You know, it needs to be not split 50-50 on offenses. Because it should... Like, it's the same problem that something like Lucario suffers from. And also, like, Greninja to another degree. Is that it splits its stats too heavily into being a mixed attacker that it can't focus into a specific offense. And then because its BST is a limiting factor, it can't afford to run the other stats in other places. You know, a great example... this is what I call stat efficiency. A great example of, like, stat efficiency is look at, like, say, Garchomp's base stat total and, like, Flygon. You know, Flygon has a much lower base stat total, but if you take away the 80, say, the 80 special attack that, like, both of them have, and then, you know, of course, because Garchomp's outspeeding Flygon, you take away the 100 stat on Flygon, it really isn't using that many of its offensive stats. I mean, it isn't really using that much of its stats compared to Garchomp, which is using significantly more. And you need to, like, compare those effective stat totals. And something like that really ends up screwing over, you know, certain Pokemon. Thank you, Darkleton. What have I been bringing? I've never... You know, I'll just bring my Magnezone. I'll just bring Zone Patrol. I can't bring in my Goldengo. But yeah, like, if Scovillain had a more dedicated focused stat spread, you know, you chip... I think I've said this... I think I actually mentioned this to you, Alex. If you took off, like, 70 points of Scovillain's, say, physical attack or special attack, and then you put 15 into both of its defenses... and then put 10 in every other stat, you would have a not amazing Pokemon. Like, it wouldn't be like a super stellar, but it would definitely be like a contender. It would definitely have like a degree of viability, or at least a greater degree of viability. Because right now its stats are just simply too frail to be effective. And I am glad for that. Like, I think after the last gen, where you had, like, these insane min-maxed Pokemon, that having some relatively not as powerful stuff is good. But, yeah, I definitely, like, I'm okay with it. Like, again, I've mentioned this before. If everything's super, then no one will be, is definitely a philosophy that applies to Pokemon. Not every Pokemon needs to be super stellar or Maze Balls. You sometimes just need Pokemon that are not that great. But yeah, we are going to go on a raid after this. We should beat it quite easily. Because Cloyster has, like, a non-existent special defense stat. And we got a Ghost-type special attacker in the form of that Drifblim that is basically helping us. We should be fine.
We should be fine. But again, guys, please don't forget to leave a like. Excuse me, sorry, guys, hiccups, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I am surprised how late this stream went. I will take this up to 390. We're definitely at some good odds for this. You know, we are definitely up to odds. I don't want to source down. It's more than +2. Cuts to like. Honestly, I don't think we really need to do that. I think we just need to focus on doing like hitting it with damage. You guys gotta remember, this thing can and will stat purge us. This thing can and will stat purge us, so the boost will go away eventually. Hydro Pump doesn't do much. Do you have iron hands, or do you have belly drum Azumarill? I need more dark raids because I have a TERA steel kingdom, but yikes. Yeah, I generally think best plan for dark type stuff is like special dark type attacker. I mean, I like having a special and physical versions of them. So I can have like a special dark type and a physical dark type depending on what the needs of what I'm going up against. But also, more often than not, you can just belly drum Azumarill things to death. Because it's belly drum Azumarill, it's kind of crazy. What's going on? Nah. Pew! But yeah, Geo, I'll be able to help you next time. We are live because we're actually ending off right now. But I will be able to get you like an Azumarill and an Iron Hands high level because I have a couple spares. Also, guys, again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This was a glorious day. 2 shinies, a whole bunch of eggs hatched, and it is now time to go in a raid. Let's get on. Pew! That's probably going to take it down. Yes. Also, good thing to remember that. We have a video all about the best options to use to beat the Greninja 7-star raids coming next week. There's a very easy way to one-shot that thing. So, highly recommend you watch the video, get yourself acquainted, and how to beat it. With that, Cloyster goes down. I'm not going to catch it. I like how when Cloyster closes its eyes and closes its mouth, it's just like a marble inside of the shell. Because you can't really see the eyes. You can't really see the lines that go to the eyes and the mouth. I love it. That was productive. Thank you, guys. We're going to go, and if you actually are looking for raids, we're going to go and raid Mr. Lionheart Plays, a.k.a. Mr. Humberto, who is presently doing TERA raids with viewers. I think you guys will enjoy. See you guys next time. Also, don't forget to join the Discord and watch our other stuff on the playlists. See you guys next time. It helps support the channel.